Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kimberly Solfridge with the Kids Money Project, and welcome to Mommies and Money. Hey, Paula, how are you doing today?
I am doing fantastic, and I'm Paula Weiss with CNS Insurance and Talk Money with Paula. It's great to see you guys.
Yes. So, we are going to kind of jump right into it a little bit today, and we are kind of talking about the fact that unfortunately women earn less,
Hmm.
which means we probably save less. But guess what? We live longer. Well, on average, we live longer.
Yeah. Hmm. Yes.
And I don't know about you, but those numbers kind of don't work real well if you
No.
you know it can be a problem. Now, it doesn't have to be a problem. There are obviously ways to make sure that it is not. But overall, I mean, that is a little bit of an issue, and it is something that women need to be aware of and do something about.
And now that it's Financial Literacy Month, we thought this would be a good time to actually chat about it and understand that it doesn't need to be a term that makes you scared or run to the hills. It's just talking about the basics of money
Yes.
and all the components that make up that literacy and financial uh, aptitude.
Right. Yeah, because it really isn't anything to be scared of.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, I think people do get a little worried about it because they think it's overwhelming or maybe don't understand it. And but I think it's
Mhm.
maybe trying to take on too much of it. And so what we've been talking about is taking it in pieces and
Right.
kind of learning it as you go. And of course, the whole part of my company, which is the Kids Money Project, is talking to your kids early about these things so they learn it.
Right.
And of course, we know when we're talking to kids, we're actually you take little snippets of it and you teach them this,
Right.
and then you kind of build on that.
Mhm.
And, honestly, that's how adults learn as well. You try to tackle the whole thing at one
Mm.
time. It can be daunting, particularly given
Right.
certain subject matters.
How do
So,
you eat an elephant, Kimberly? One
right.
bite at a time. So it's the same thing. It's this big thing, but if you start little, you'll ultimately get to enjoy the whole elephant if
Yes.
you take the time to do it. So step back and go, okay, breathe, and we're going to kind of share with you some of the ideas that we have for you today as to
Mhm.
how you can take baby steps.
Right. Well, so kind of researching today's topic and everything like that, we unfortunately came across a number that was a little frightening, that something
Yes.
like, what was it,
Point
3.8
eight.
million
Yes.
uh, women in the United States unfortunately have, I think it was below a basic knowledge of,
Third third grade level.
yeah, which that's what a basic knowledge is considered
Hmm.
a third grade level. Um, but they have, unfortunately, they don't even have that level of
Right.
knowledge on financial literacy. And
Hmm.
again, it's because this is not something that you're going to find in your school systems.
Right.
Money has kind of always been a taboo conversation in homes.
Hmm.
So it's not talked about.
Right.
And until you're an adult, until you're managing your own finances, which unfortunately you had no idea how to do when you got out there.
No.
And so you may have dug yourself into a hole early, not knowing. That's my biggest fear with kids that are going to school today. They take out these whopper college student loans,
Right.
and unfortunately, they're not quite old enough to understand the consequences of
Right.
what they're doing and how much they're taking out and how long it will take them to pay it back.
Right.
I know we found some information that
Yeah, it
I
was
don't
really
remember
fun.
what the percentage was, how many that don't even consider what their payment would be in the future
Yeah.
of these.
Ask my mom.
Yes,
That
yes, there
was
was an
funny.
ask my mom. In other words, I have no clue.
Yeah, he was asked, yeah, asked what his interest rate was. He said, I know, ask my mom. And I'm thinking, okay, so your mom is going to pay this back, or is there a responsibility of you, her putting you through school, that
Right.
you don't think there's an accountability? But it was a really funny YouTube video.
Yeah, actually, you'll see it because that's part of what we're gonna talk about next week. So stay
Yeah.
tuned on our in our
Yeah.
group. You'll see that video because it
Hmm.
was kind of funny to watch.
Yeah. And then maybe it opens the door because sometimes you need a good joke to kind of see things in a humorous way and say, can't be my kid. That will never happen to me. So hopefully, it will help you see where we are.
Right.
So Kimberly and I were doing a ton of research, and there is a plethora of information for finances, and especially directed at women, out on the web, out on the internet. I mean, hundreds. And I'm not quite sure why we as women don't avail ourselves to that information. So I'm going to
Well, and we
put that back to
understand,
you.
we're all busy. And
Hmm.
that's usually the excuse that's thrown out there is I don't have
Right,
time. I'm too busy. And that's, believe me, I get that. I'm busy too. We're all busy.
right.
And if we were talking about learning how to crochet or do something else that it doesn't necessarily matter if we learn it or not, that
Hmm.
would be one thing.
Right.
But we're actually talking about your finances, something that you have to understand to be able to function in this world. We live in a world that requires money. And
Yes.
so understanding it takes takes a little bit of knowledge. And again, it doesn't take a lot. It really doesn't. But it is something that we do
Hmm.
need to have. And so we do need to take the time. And
Right.
again, we're not talking about a lot of time, but to
Not
learn.
algebra or physics. None of them. This is pretty, it's just a basic understanding of how money works
Mhm,
and how that changes your life if you have a better understanding. But
right.
yet, no physics, I promise.
Well, we talked about, maybe breaking it down into kind of bite-sized pieces.
Mhm.
So maybe over, and I don't know how long it would take you because it actually doesn't matter how long it takes you because it should be something that you probably continuously do.
Mhm.
Really, I mean, I know Paula and I both are in the same place. We're constantly learning about this stuff. Now, we
Mhm.
spend a lot more than 30 minutes a week,
Yes.
which is kind of what we're suggesting for the average
Mhm.
person. But that's because we're in these fields, so we're
Right.
we're doing a lot like that. But for somebody that just needs to understand how money works and understand this, to be
Right.
able to talk to, financial advisors and consultants to understand how to be able to tell what they're wanting, what their goals are, and things like that. It really doesn't take
Right.
much more than that to get a good financial basis for yourself.
Mhm. Right. And you should start find the page, find something that appeals to you. And I think I'll put out a couple different websites or information that's out there that you know where to start, because maybe it's even good to sit down with your kids, find a website, and together read it.
Mhm.
So if they're old enough, because we know they're old enough to start learning about money, 2 and 3 years old, they're absorbing stuff that we never thought. That's why you have to be careful what you say in front of your little critters. Not
Yes.
being disrespectful, called my kids critters and kiddos and all sorts of stuff. And but they're learning from you. They emulate what you're saying. So if you sit down with a book or you sit down, at the computer with them and kind of say, "Oh, this is money and this is what it is," it will help you
Yes.
help them. And I think maybe help you feel that you're moving forward in your understanding of finance.
Yes, well, and
Mhm.
that's almost exactly what I teach because a lot of times I realize what I am having parents, talk to their kids about,
Mhm.
oftentimes nobody ever talked to them about it.
Right.
And they may have some knowledge of it or they may not have any, depending on what the topic
Yeah.
is.
Mhm.
And so a lot of times the parents are having to learn right along with the kids, but why not do it all at the same time?
Mhm.
And of course, being a parent, you've had some world experience at this point. That life experience will help you understand it a lot faster, which is good because you're going
Right.
to have to explain that to your
Mhm.
kids, but you're going to have to do it over and over to get them to truly
Yeah.
understand it. Repetition is part of learning, and
Yeah. Yeah.
there's a lot of
Yes.
us adults that need to do it 2 or 3
Two
times
times.
too
Yeah.
to really get it.
But we're not just talking to moms, we're talking to grandmas and godmothers and even women that have been married, are married, that haven't, don't know where to start. And they're feeling intimidated or left out or just uncertain. And if you start on the internet, there's no judgment, there's no anything. You're just out there reading an article
Mhm.
and there's no a pass or fail. You can read it again 100 different times till it finally clicks. So it's moms need to learn to be able to help their kids learn.
Mhm.
Because realistically, I don't know that this you don't want the schools to teach your kids about money.
Yes, this is true. Well, and you have to also realize that let's say it was in our school systems and they
Mhm.
were learning this at school, they're also still watching you.
Right.
And so actions speak louder than words. And
Yes.
so what they learn at school, if they come
Mhm,
home and see you doing something exactly the opposite or something else, that's what they're actually learning is the right
mhm.
thing to do. And so if you're not being a good role model or you're maybe making some money mistakes, that's actually what they're learning.
Mhm.
So it's important to understand one that they are watching you. And I mean, we know that. We how many have had the kid say the bad word or do
Yeah.
something that we're like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe my child just did that." And you're like, "Yeah, I know I did it last week. That's why they did it." But, um,
Or I said, I never said that.
that's right. Yeah, we've all been
That
there.
was
All
daddy. Yeah.
every parent has
Yeah.
backpedaled before on that one.
Mhm. Yeah, I
But
agree.
but that tells you how much they're listening, and they're taking in a lot more than we probably give them credit
Mhm,
for. And so that's why it's so important that
mhm.
you're doing these things at home. And,
Right,
I wish this was more in our school systems as well, but knowing what I know about what takes place at home, I know that is going to be their number one place to learn
right.
it
Mhm.
anyway. So, it's time for you to kind of make sure you're doing what you need to be doing to
Right.
make sure your kids are learning what they need to know about it.
Okay.
And if and I know with it being financial literacy month, I've actually been doing on my social media and stuff, and I've been posting it in here in Mommies and Money as well.
Mhm.
Um, but I have this entire month, I'm posting something each day, and this might be a good place for you to start because
Okay, source.
it's learning a lot more about your own personal finances. But
Mhm.
that's actually a really
Right.
great place to start.
Mhm.
And you can even go back to, we're what, the seventh now, so we're a weekend.
Yeah.
And but a lot of these are pretty easy, probably wouldn't even take you 30 minutes. Some might be a little bit more intensive depending on what kind of situation you might be in.
Mhm.
But maybe go back and just check out some of those posts and stuff like that and just make a list of these 30 things. And you don't necessarily have to do them once a day. With it being financial literacy month, I'm just posting them
Mhm.
once a day. But maybe do them once a week. And you can kind of
Mhm.
just jot them down or whatever. And that way spend 30 minutes or so
Mhm.
each week and you'll get a really good grip on where you're at. And if one takes you 5 minutes, maybe go ahead and just do the next one. Just
We won't tell, but guess what? They don't get erased. They're going to be there.
that's
So
right.
just in case you need to do that, you need to go back. It will be available for you to go back and
Mhm.
review. So it's
Yeah,
not like I need to, dog a page the thing or save the website. So
right.
there's good stuff. You just come back and visit Kimberly Mommy's Money or the Kids Money Project or Talk Money with Paula. They're
Mhm.
all there for
Yeah.
you to see. But we just want to inspire you. We want you to feel empowered that it's a topic and it's a subject you can learn from, you can grow. And being money is the biggest stressor in your marriage or in most people's lives. If you can get a handle on this, you might have a much better outlook in how you approach life.
Absolutely. Yeah, and like we said, it's
Mhm.
it's really not that hard and it doesn't take that much time. So, when's the best time to start? Right
And I
now.
just to make one point, it doesn't make a difference how much money you have in the bank.
Right.
I don't care if you have a penny or you've got seven figures. It's okay to to start and learn. It really does. Sometimes there's things that people that have a lot of money don't know some of the basics, and they were fortunate because they inherited the money or how that happened. But it's not too early to start, and don't think you don't deserve to know and learn about how to handle money.
Mm, absolutely. So yeah, go check out Mommies and Money, the group.
Mhm,
Check out some of those posts and like I said, spend a
yeah,
little time, get a really good handle on your finances if you don't already have one.
mhm,
And like I said, I'll be posting them each day, so tune back in and see what you have in
mhm.
store for coming months and ahead. So but yeah, we just want to, like she said, inspire everybody to get a little bit better handle on their own personal finances and learn a little bit more about financial literacy because money is something that we have to use every day.
Yeah,
And it's important to understand how it works. Understanding how it works will make your life so much
mhm,
simpler. And world where it's already kind of difficult, why not make something a little bit easier on yourself?
right. Knowledge is power, ladies.
Yes,
That's
absolutely. Well, we will sign off here for today, but we look
yes.
forward to seeing you next week
Mhm.
and tune into the group.
Mommy's
The
mommy's
word
and
left
money.
my brain. but you can tune into the group in between.
Mhm.
We share information there all the time.
Yeah.
So we look forward to seeing y'all next week.
Yeah. Have a great day.
Thank you. We'll
See you
see y'all
later.
later.